Hi, all you music lovers. My name is Andy Rodriguez, also known as the Blackspinner. And if you're new to our channel, what we do here is we go through my record collection in alphabetical and in chronological order. Today, we are going to be doing the letter M. And I have a lot of M's, so I had to divide these into two different episodes. I have been collecting records for over 20 years. Maybe that's why I need to split the M's into two different piles. So let's start with step number one. We're doing the letter M's. So we're going to start with someone who was very big in the 80s. Not just very big in the 80s, but she defined the 80s and into the early 90s. Talking about Madonna. This is her debut album. I don't have very much pop, but when I do have pop music, it's going to be the top of the pop. The songs on here is Lucky Star, Borderline, and Holiday. Those are the three songs that stick out to me. Now, if you're new to my channel, to let you know that I will go through each album, and I will pick out key tracks on each album. Not just the hits, but also key tracks that stand out to me that I think that you should know about. The next, I have Madonna's second album, Like a Virgin. This put her in the stratosphere. This made her big all around the world, especially with that performance that she had on MTV when she performed Like a Virgin. Just blew it out of the water. Still, like the first album, I didn't mention that many songs. This one was kind of spotty as well. But the songs that were hits for her were fantastic. This is upside down because the songs back here is upside down. There's the backtrack. I mean, not the backtrack, but there's the back picture of the album. And songs on here, Sudden One is fantastic. Material Girl, Angel, Like a Virgin, and Love Don't Live Here Anymore. It's a really good song by her. The side 2 has Dress You Up and She Be Do. Yep, and here's the inside. And now another picture of Madge there. I don't know, did they consider her the queen of pop as well? You know, because that's around the same time that Michael Jackson was calling himself the king of pop. I was wondering if they had also made her the queen of pop at the time. True Blue by Madonna. Right here, she was in full form on her video making. She was atop the world. She was making movies. She had made, I believe, Shanghai Surprise, Desperately Seeking Susan, and doing this album. There was another one after the soundtrack for Who's That Girl. The songs on here are fantastic. Papa Don't Preach, Open Your Heart, Live to Tell. Another movie. I don't know if she was in that movie. I think she made the movie for her then husband Sean Penn's movie called At Close Range. True Blue, Isla Bonita. Yeah, that's a pretty good album by her. And next that I have by Madonna is Like a Prayer. She was already conquering the world by this time. And there's the back of it. Songs on here, Like a Prayer, Express Yourself. And there's a song here called Love Song. I didn't know this until recently. I don't know why this was a big hit, but that was a duet with Prince, or she wrote it with Prince. I think it was a duet of some kind, if I remember right. Cherish, Dear Jesus, Oh Father. Yeah, this was a big hit for her as well. And to me, this is where, after this album, I really didn't follow her anymore. I know it shows like I followed her like forever, like her whole career, but this is where I stopped. Got too much for me. Her art just wasn't art anymore. And I'm really going to change gears here from Madonna to Iggy Malmsteen, The Rising Force. Amy Malmsteen is a great heavy metal guitar player. Believe it or not, I found this one at Goodwill like for $1. I was so surprised. There's the back of it. The vocals on here are done by Jeff Soto. I don't know too much about him, but of course the main person here is Amy Malmsteen. Songs on here: Black Star, I like a lot, Evil Eye, and Farewell. But really what stands out is Amy Malmsteen's playing. Fantastic album. I enjoy it. And what I have next is I don't know if you would consider them a underappreciated band, or a band not known, or a band not given enough credit. But in the world of Southern rock, you've got your Allman Brothers, you've got your Leonard Skinner, you've even got your 38 Special. Well, this band, in my opinion, they weren't quite country rock. They were more, what's the word I'm looking for? That's what I needed, my microphone. I forgot. I keep on forgetting about this thing. They were more like rebel rock, but not quite soft rock, because I don't want to call them soft rock because their guitar work was fantastic. They were, and the guitar work was electricity. And I'm talking about the Marshall Tucker Band. Not that they were quite famous for some time, but not as big as they should have. There's the inside of this album. This is a double album. Starts out with a fantastic song. This is what I'm looking for. You see, I know that there was something going on here, something different with this. There is a studio album and a live album on here. Side 1 is and there's the Capricorn Records. Yeah, side 1, This Old Cowboy and Low Down Ways. This Lonesome Cowboy, the way that it starts up with a great song. I think it's 6 minutes and 42 seconds. But the guitar playing and the violin are just great. And Every Day I Have the Blues, which is about an 11-minute song. This band, the Marshall Tucker Band, will go off on a tangent of jams. And they're smooth jams. They're not too over the wall. They don't have too much fire on them. They're just smooth. They really are. And there are guest people on here. Charlie Daniels and Elvin Bishop, just to name a few. And the live album, sides 3 and 4, I believe, are live. Where a Country Boy Belongs, Try One More Time, and Ramblin'. And 24 Hours at a Time is an alright song, but at 13 minutes it just drags on a little bit too much for me. But, if you're into country rock of the 70s, and I don't even want to call it country, no, I didn't want to use soft rock. Country rock of the late 70s, Southern country rock. This is your band right here. It really is. The next one that I have is Carolina Dreams by the Marshall Tucker Band. I'm sorry, that kept on bothering me. I wanted to label them as something. And it's country rock from the 70s. There's the inside of it. There's also 2 brothers in the band, the Caldwell brothers. There's a Tommy Caldwell and Toy Caldwell. Toy Caldwell is the main songwriter, lead vocal, lead guitar. The songs on here. This was one of the big hits. If I say this, y'all might be able to remember them. Hurt in a Love Song. That was their big, big hit. Heard in a love song, I Should Have Never Started Loving You. Desert Sky was good, and Tell It to the Devil. And they had another song, I don't have the vinyl of. I just bought this one probably about a month ago. No, a couple months ago, because I haven't gone record shopping since March the 1st because of COVID-19. But Running Like the Wind is a really good song on here. Last of the Singing Cowboys. And on side 2, Melody Ann and My Best Friend. Some pretty good songs on here. I put this on the other day, and it just ran smooth. You know, I went ahead, played it, flipped it, it was over, and I just told myself, I pleasantly like this. And I did. And what's next is Paul McCartney. Paul McCartney. If you've been watching my other episodes, I had quite a bit of George Harrison and quite a bit of John Lennon. I don't have that much Paul's. I used to have quite a bit of Paul's, but then I guess I just started trading them or giving them away or something, and now I want them back, and I gotta start over. So this one's McCartney. The songs on here, Every Night, I liked that one, and Junk. And of course, Baby I'm Amazed and Teddy Boy. Yep. Those were my favorite tracks on this album. The other tracks didn't stand out as much as the George and John's debut albums. This one is Ram. A lot of people say that this is his best one, and I tend to agree. You know, it can be. It doesn't mean it's great. I don't know. There's just something about Paul's solo stuff. To me, I just like his greatest hits. Like Wings' greatest hits is a perfect compilation. But when it comes to the albums, I don't know. They just don't grab me like George and John's do. Let's see here. Too Many People, Uncle Albert, Admiral Halsey, Smile Away, Eat at Home. I don't know. Again, this was just, I don't know. There's the inside of it. And those albums he pretty much did on his own, and he craved for a band. He wanted to have a band like the Beatles to be supporting him. He didn't want to keep doing it all by himself, so he did form Wings, Wings at the Speed of Sound. This one here, he gives the other band members other songs, you know, or he I don't want to say allows, but other band members brought their songs with them. So Paul does have, of course he's got most of them, but there's about 4 tracks that are done by other people, and you know, by Denny Lane, who's on here, and Joe English. Denny Lane is doing The Note You Never Wrote, and also, you know, the best song, and he also does Time to Hide, and also there's a vocal here by Linda, which was, you know, her voice was always kind of thin. But the songs I like here, again, are going to be by Paul, and there's only a couple of songs on here, like Let 'Em In and Silly Love Songs, and the rest is just so scattered. And I hate to say that because I like Paul. You know, his later albums in the late 90s and 2000s were fantastic affairs. But there's, you know, the inside of it. And then there's the back of it. And if you have any kind of cable TV, or any kind of streaming kind of TV you've been watching, or they keep showing, Paul McCartney rock show. And what I have here is Wings Over America. It is a triple live album. There's the inside of it, which is the drawings, or the, they feature this on the rock show. And what's the good thing about this? This is like having the greatest hits by Wings and Beatles put together. The songs that are on here are fantastic. Venus and Mars, Jet, Let Me Roll It. That's on side 1. Side 2, Baby I'm Amazed, Lady Madonna, The Long and Winding Road, and Live and Let Die. Live and Let Die is a bombastic song. It was done for a James Bond 007 movie called, with the same title, Live and Let Die. Then also Guns N' Roses did a cover of it that appears on Use Your Illusion 1. And on site 3, it starts with a couple of songs that I have no idea what they are. But then after those 2 songs comes Bluebird, I've Just Seen a Face, Blackbird, and Yesterday. I don't know why Blackbird and Yesterday and I've Just Seen a Face were hidden there in the middle. Side 4, My Love, and Listen to What the Man Said. I like that. I like those 2 songs by Paul. You see what I'm saying? There's a couple of songs that he does real well, and a couple of them it just didn't match on a full record. Side 5, Let 'Em In, Silly Love Songs, Beware My Love, and side 6 has Band on the Run. And of course, all 3 albums are on here, or are in here, and I enjoyed listening to this more than regular albums by him. And speaking of, I have this one here, Back to the Egg. This one, not too many songs stick out to me, but what does stick out is side 2, tracks 1 and 6. Rockstar theme, and So Glad to See You Here. And let me tell you why. There's the inside of it. And let me tell you why, because on side 2, tracks 1 and 6, guitars by Denny Lane, David Gilmour, Pete Townsend, drums by John Bonham, and bassist by Paul McCartney and John Paul Jones, and Ronnie Lane, and Paul McCartney on piano. Okay, so we got all-star cast. Some of the best musicians on their respected instruments. And when you hear these songs on here, you couldn't tell. And that's the sad part about it. It's like they're just here on name, but when you play them, you don't hear anything that you're expecting. You don't hear John Bonham's drums going crazy. You don't hear the distinctive guitar work by David Gilmour. I'm there listening to it, and still today I'm listening to it and trying to find it, and I just can't. And what we have next is a debut album by Michael McDonald. Michael McDonald is was the lead singer for the Doobie Brothers for their last couple of albums when they switched their whole music palette around, and he was more of a soul singer. Songs on here, Playing by the Rules, I Keep Forgetting, I Can't Let Go Now, That's Why, and Losing In, and Believe in It. This was an alright album when it came out, and it's still good. But if you know anything about Michael McDonald, you know what to expect from him, which is good pop soul, is what it is. Good pop soul. And what I have next is that I know I've said that, my mom had bought me a couple of albums for Christmas when I was 14 and this and that. But this was the first album that I bought with my own money. And it's so funny because I usually take off the price tag, but this still has the price tag that I bought it in July of 1993. I was working at a grocery store, and this girl gave me a ride home, and we were listening to a song on the radio, and I just loved it so much. And I found it on vinyl, and I bought it, and I still have that same record that I bought over 20 years ago. I've been carrying this around with me for a very long time, and it's Don McLean's American Pie. Yeah, I bought that. This was one of the first albums I ever bought with my own money. I went to the record store and was looking through the used vinyl, and I picked it up. Don McLean, American Pie. Of course, the title track is one of the greatest songs ever made, American Pie. I hate it when they play the short version on the radio. If you're going to do that, why play it? American Pie. Vincent is a very good song too. Winterwood, Everybody Loves Me Baby, and in the bottom it says dedicated to Buddy Holly. So yeah, Don McLean. My first album that I bought with my own money. So that was pretty exciting. What I have here is a wonderful album that was released in the mid-70s. It took the rock and roll world by surprise. Talk about Meatloaf, Bat Out of Hell, produced by the great Todd Rundgren. And I will talk more about Todd Rundgren when we get to the R's. Because not only was he a fantastic producer, but he was a fantastic artist in his own right. But Bat Out of Hell, there's the back of it. This is going to just barely miss my top 20 greatest albums of all time. Let me tell you why. Bat Out of Hell. You took the words right out of my mouth. Heaven Can Wait. All revved up with no place to go. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. It's such a great ballad. I remember I had loved that song before, and I've actually called the radio station to request it once when I was in high school. Paradise by the Dashboard Light, and for crying out loud, I read every single album on here. I'm going to have to hear it again because I might put it on my top 20. But yeah, Meatloaf, this is a hell of an album. Bat Out of Hell. People need to stream it because this is something that needs to be heard if you're not familiar with Bat Out of Hell by Meatloaf. Because, man, this album is a wild ride. It is. And now we're getting into John Cougar or John Mellencamp. I put him on the M for Mellencamp. So let's get started because I got quite a bit. John Cougar, he is out of Indiana. He also helped form Farm Aid along with Dylan and Neil Young. Pretty young there. Songs on here. I Need a Lover and Welcome to Chinatown in Miami. He was just starting out, so he's still getting his songwriting in. But that's what you like about an artist that that you like to follow. You like to see them grow. To see how good they become. And John Mellencamp took steps to get there. It wasn't right off the bat, immediate, oh man, this guy's awesome. No, it took a couple of tries to get to where he got to. And Nothing Matters, and What If It Did? John Cougar Mellencamp, okay? And the sticker down here, if you see the sticker, I'll read it to you. It says, "Attention programmers, please audition side 2 before airing." That's crazy. I've never seen that before. Side 1. There's not that many songs on here that stand out to me. Oh, interesting. This was produced by Steve Cropper. Steve Cropper being the lead guitar player of Booker T and the MGs. We spoke about them earlier under the letter B. And if you ever saw the Blues Brothers, the original Blues Brothers, with Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi, he's the guitar player with the straight long hair and the beard. the main, I guess the main character of the band, the backing band. Next, I have American Fool. This is when he really started to get a lot of get known, and I'll go through the songs to know why. He didn't make it just because he was making records. He made it because he kept on improving, and the more that he improved, the better the songs got. Let's Hurt So Good was a big hit for him. And let's talk about big hits, Jack and Diane. And that's a beautiful song. Jack and Diane's great. Had to Hold On To, Thundering Hearts, and Close Enough. But Hand to Hold On To is a really good song too. This was a strong album for him. And, he's going to be improving. And we'll see when he gets to John Cougar Mellencamp. Yeah. Crumbling Down, Pink Houses, Authority Song. You see how now, as I go by album, the more albums that I go through from John Mellencamp, the more songs I read off. Yeah, Authority Song, Jackie O, Play Guitar, play guitar. And the inside of it has the lyrics and pictures of the band with him. And as far as I know, I didn't read too much into the band, but I think he kept a lot of his band intact. And like I said, the more albums he was making at this period, the better they were getting. Scarecrow took over the Heartland and America when this came out. This was huge for him. And I believe this was around the year that Farm Aid formed. It was around this time. Songs on here: Rain on the Scarecrow, Blood on the Plow, Small Town. That's a great song, Small Town. Lonely All Night. It's a lonely all night when I put my arms around you. That's great. Justice and Independence, Between a Laugh and a Tear. And this ends with R-O-C-K in the USA. R-O-C-K in the USA. Oh, there's just this here. Not much. But that's alright because we're busy on just this was a good album. So what else can he do after Scarecrow? Lonesome Jubilee. Yeah, he's getting better and better. It's a fantastic album. He was a megastar when this came out. And the inside of it, with the lyrics, songs on here, Paper and Fire, Down in Paradise, check it out. That's one of my favorite songs by John Cougar Mellencamp. Check it out. Cherry Bomb is also good. Hard Times for an Honest Man. Yeah, this is really good. I enjoyed it. And the next that I have by John Cougar Mellencamp is Big Daddy. This one, it started slowing down. It did. After so much success there, it started to slow down. But still, Jackie Brown was a good song. Pop Singer was also a good song. Mansions in Heaven. Yeah. Inside's just a paper gatefold. And next, I wish I had these guys debut album, but I don't. I'm gonna have to start off here with their second album, Cargo by Men at Work. I used to have their first one and I sold it or I traded it. You know how the story goes. I've been saying that quite a bit. Side one, let's go with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Jive. Sorry. And Overkill, it's a great song. I love Overkill. Settle Down My Boy. Side 2, It's a Mistake. And High Wire. Yeah, this album has a very high energy to it. It's really good. And what I have next is a band that came out in the early 80s. a thrash band that took the world by storm. I'm wearing their t-shirt. And we're going to start off with Kill 'Em All by Metallica. I got paint on it because when we first moved into this home was in 2011, and I had already had this album. It's I didn't buy it when it first came out. This is a reprint, and I was doing a little painting, and I was hearing this album, and I spilled paint on the cover and on the back there. And check this out. I got a little bit of smudges and paint on the album, and it plays through like it's nothing. I don't know, I guess I got a paint-free needle, but it plays through just fine. Alright, let's go through these songs. Of course, I might read all of them. Hit the Lights, The Four Horsemen, Mortar Breath, Jump in the Fire, Whiplash. Woo! Let's go to side 2, No Remorse, Seek and Destroy, Metal Militia. This was a great album for them. This was a great debut album. This might be one of my favorite debut albums of all time. There's the lyrics. There's the back, the paper insert. And like I said, I did get this as a reprint, I believe. But that's okay. That's okay. Down here in the South, I live in Houston, Texas. There's a place called Half Price Bucks, which is where I get a lot of my vinyl from. And I start off, I'm just looking around, but I do go in the bargain bins. I go down the bargain bins. I get down on my knees and I get down on my butt, and I'm looking down there, looking, and I was looking one day down there, and in the very back, someone must have been hiding these, because I found these in the bargain bin, hidden in the very back. Yeah, somebody put them back there, because they weren't $1. They were, I believe, about $4 or $5 each. But they were both together in the bargain bin in the very back. Somewhere where people probably have no business looking back there, but I always do, because you'll never know what you'll find. And these are the ones that I found that day. I think I had to. I think they had to come and give me resuscitation, because I think I died when I found these back there. So let's get started. Metallica, Ride the Lightning. Better than their debut, I believe, in my opinion. The songs are a little bit more diverse. When it came to Kill 'Em All, which is a great album, but I just like the diversity of Kill 'Em All. Fight Fire with Fire, Ride the Lightning, For Whom the Bell Tolls, and Fade to Black. Almost a flawless side 1. But what about side 2? Almost just as flawless. Let's get started. Trapped Under Ice, Escape, Creeping Death, and The Call of Cthulhu. There's the lyrics. There's some pictures of the guys. And, released by Elektra. I've always liked the Elektra logo. I know it's simple, but I guess ever since I was a kid, I would see that logo. It just, just brings back memories. Especially Elektra in the 80s released so much when it came to rock music. You had that little logo even on the side of the cassettes. Yeah, man, I was so surprised when I had found these in the bargain bin. Definitely someone was hiding them. Master of Puppets. This will definitely be in my top 20. Love this album from beginning to end. There's the paper insert of the guys. Lyrics in the back. I guess that was just my lucky night. It really was. Let's go with Battery, Master of Puppets, The Thing That Should Never Be, Sanitarium, Welcome Home, Sanitarium. Dude! Side 1. complete masterpiece. Well, but what about side 2, Blackspinner? Well, let's flip it. Disposable Heroes, Leper Messiah, Orion, Damage Inc. That's great. Yeah, this is a great album. And it still is today. This next album that I have, I remember I was having, it wasn't a sleepover, but we were at my friend's house, and they pitched a tent in the backyard, and it was me and my childhood friends, Ben and Randy, and I learned how to smoke cigarettes that night, and on the cassette, my friend had this on the cassette. I don't smoke anymore, I gave that up, but you know, when you're 14 and 15, and this was in the mid-80s, you know, you try it. Anyway, we played this album, we played this cassette all night long, flipping it back and forth, stayed up all night. We're listening to And Justice for All by Metallica. This used to be my favorite Metallica album, but lately it really has been Master of Puppets. I know people say about, you know, the bass wasn't there, you know, there was so much problems going on. You know, here was the first time that they had a different bass player instead of Cliff Burton. Now we had Jason Newsted, and but I liked it. I guess, you know, I just liked it. You know, I didn't care about all that other stuff. I just loved it. It was a big part of my life, because this is the album that introduced me to Metallica, and then I worked my way back. So this has Blackened and Justice for All, Eye of the Beholder, and One, which was their first foray into the music video, and they nailed it. Side 2 has The Shortest Straw, Harvester of Sorrow, The Frayed End of Sanity, and Dyer's Eve. Yeah, this is really good. This is a great album. And next, I have Death Magnetic. I've got the Black Album on other forms, I believe on CD and cassette, but I don't have it on vinyl. And the others, I didn't care to. But when this came out, man, I was excited. Especially, you know, after Load and Reload and Some Kind of Monster, I guess that's what it was called. But when this came out, this gave me hope. Here's the inside. And this is also with a new bassist, Robert Trejo, who was from Suicidal Tendencies, I believe. And the songs on here, That Was Just Your Life, The End of the Line, Broken, Beaten, Scarred, The Day That Never Comes, All Night Long, Cyanide, I Almost Died, something like that, I forgot. Suicide. They do the Unforgiven 3. I didn't care for 2, I sure as hell didn't want to hear Unforgiven 3. And My Apocalypse. This was produced by Rick Rubin. Yeah, I like the Death Magnetic. And they also have an EP that goes along with this called Beyond Death Magnetic. And it's a really good EP. I really enjoyed it. I streamed it. I had it in my hands one day on vinyl for $9.99. I was at Cactus Records. I had it in my hand. I was about to go pay for it. But then right next to it was a secret box of about 25 albums inside. It was taped up, and I was with my buddy. It was $20. He goes, "Hey, let's go halves on this box." I said, "All right." So I put the Beyond Death Magnetic down. Bought the box. You can't open it until you leave the store. No refunds. So we go and we pay. We take it home, you know, crack open a beer, open the box, and then just to let you know, my buddy goes, "Well, I don't want any of these." I said, "Man, I felt so duped." I went back to the record store the next day, and of course I couldn't find that Beyond Death Magnetic anywhere. But hey, that'll teach me to go ahead and buy what I love instead of going, oh geez, I wonder what's inside the secret box. Nothing is ever inside the secret box. Well, thanks a lot for joining me as we went through part 1 of the letter M. And I will do part 2 soon, very, very soon. But thanks for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed as much as I enjoyed it. So, I believe part 2 of the letter M will be coming out very soon. So take care of yourselves. And keep on rocking. And also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and leave a comment. I really enjoy doing this, so just keep on telling me and I'll keep on doing it. Y'all take care of yourselves. Good night.